It's been a little bit more than 24 hours, I guess, since you learned you were going to be facing BYU. I know you spent the last day trying to watch a lot of film and get up to speed, but can you kind of recap what stands out to you about the BYU offense and the challenge you'll be facing?
Efficiency, how efficient they are on offense. Obviously, they have a great quarterback in Mr. Wilson, and really, and it looks like an experienced group. Whether they got some young players or older players, obviously they're already older, in just being a part of that BYU tradition. But very efficient. Starts with the quarterback. Really good player. Really good running backs. Really good wide receivers. Solid tight ends. They give you a lot of mixture of a bunch of tight ends in the game, or the receivers, and very balanced, very seasoned, very good group, very, very efficient.
Willie, I know UCF has put up some videos recently of players having fun with dodgeball, kickball, things like that. How important was it to give these guys a little bit of a break from football and let them have some fun as kids?
I mean, it's always great to do that, and then throw in the pandemic, and what we've had to deal with. Everybody's had to deal with it. Yourself, include everybody, and to have some fun, and not that we don't have fun playing football, but to get away from it, to hit the reset button, to recognize how blessed we are to be able to do what we do, and to be around young people. I know for myself, keeps me young, and to see them laugh and to really enjoy each other in a different setting, and then be competitive doing it. It's kind of cool to find out the guys that don't like to lose on anything, about any kind of competition. We started off with that softball game, and obviously went to the dodgeball, and then obviously kickball, and it's fun. You can see the guys that can turn on the switch really quick, and it's fun to see, and again, to compete and to win, even though having fun doing it.
Coach, you mentioned the pleasure of seeing that kind of joy during this kind of weird season with the pandemic. When you look back on this 2020 season, I know this might be a tough question to answer now, but when you think about this 2020 season and how weird it's been, what stands out to you? Maybe some moments or just the general conceit of the season that you will remember most?
That's a loaded question, because there's so many things that have happened. I try to reflect on myself first, meaning I want to make sure I hold myself accountable. And the one thing when this all happened, is the awareness that I had to make sure myself towards others, the emotional part of it, and what's going on in their lives, to be a little bit more patient, and then to see the players go through it. It's been a tough deal, and everybody goes through it. I mean, we are not saying that we're better or worse, or so you can only talk about what you've been involved. But I got a lot of friends across the country, obviously family and friends, and not just our business, but to have these guys go through it and do it together, and to be consistent in dealing with it and moving forward and working through it. We already face adversity each and every day before this pandemic, you know what I mean? But now to go through it and to be able to do what we've been able to do, not lose a game, we've had some different types of issues as far as somebody might not be playing or not that, but for us to keep going, to keep fighting through it. Everybody talks about this guy's out, this guy's out, this guy's out, this guy's out. We really haven't talked about that. We've just dealt with it. Guys are basically the next man up. And is there inexperience? Is there, you wish you had certain guys and, during this process. And I think we all can say that, but we've all had to deal with it in some form or fashion, and to see them grow through it and to keep working. And I really think that we've grown as a team as the season has gone through this, and you can see it now as we're doing these activities. But it's kind of cool to see. everybody bonding together and pulling for each other and really staying focused on what's important too. And we know that we recognize there's a lot of people that are hurting across this world, this country, in our communities, and what can we do for them? And I think that we've done a really good job. The players have done a really good job of trying to reach out and help. I know we're going to have some kind of, I don't want to give out this information, but some of the stuff that we want to do in the community to help out. It starts with the players, and they are the ones that bring it up. It's kind of cool to see that. So just the tough times that we've all gone through it together, and to push forward and move forward and make a difference in other people's lives. That's what I'm going to take from it in the midst of this, pandemic.
Coach, the past few years, we've seen players who maybe have a better NFL chance to opt out of bowl games. I know you got a couple players on defense that are headed to the Senior Bowl with Richie and Aaron. Are those guys going to be available for the bowl, or have they decided to kind of focus on their NFL prospects?
As far as I'm, knowing that it's going to move forward, and whether I don't want to get into the personnel part of it. You know what I mean? Everybody's got a different perspective, you know what I mean? And I want to leave that to those guys and the coach and we appreciate every single guy and don't want to minimize what game is important, not important, and all that kind of stuff. But we're just excited that they've been a part of it and really have done a great job and being very professional and helping along the guys, along the way. We've got some young kids on defense, and to have Aaron and to have Richie, not only as players, as productive as they've been, but also to reach out and to coach them each and every day. And it's been very, very important for us in moving forward as a program. And they put their stamp on this program, and we're so proud of them. And they're going to have excellent careers, and obviously the graduates. So that's kind of cool. A lot of guys have graduated recently, but to be able to have the careers that they've had here and also graduate has left an impactful, in the program and to other guys' lives. It's really cool to see.
Obviously, Coach, Obviously, Coach, tomorrow is the beginning of early signing period. Have you found it more difficult or maybe more convenient with the virtual aspect of this recruiting cycle and how different it's been?
Well, we've been dealing with it for a long time, whether that's 10 months, we've been on Zoom calls with recruits. So I'm not going to say it's going to be, it's only different. We really adapted and adjusted to the moment and how it is. Everybody talks about the new normal. And, I think it's, when we've spoken to recruits, it hasn't been the way it used to be, so to speak. I mean, we would FaceTime them here and there, but it's always been a FaceTime. It's always been a Zoom, so you've kind of gotten a feel for, other than physically seeing them in person. You get a feel for, who they are and how they act, and they feel the same way about us. So and we really don't get a chance to really be there anyways on signing day. That changed years ago. It's not when I played. I mean, it was like, oh boy. I mean, they got people on the doorstep, but so we've already been used to the fact that we're not going to be there. It'll be FaceTime. It'll be Zoom. So I think everybody's had to deal with the same thing. And I think that everybody's kind of adapted and adjusted very well, the recruits and the coaches. It doesn't take away from the excitement though. I mean, it doesn't take away from, we don't feel really comfortable until you actually sign, that's not going to stop. I mean, that's what's going on right now. I'm taking this time to visit with you guys, but prior to this, and then obviously after I get off here and we're preparing for practice, and I mean, that doesn't stop. It never stops. You never really feel, because recruiting never stops, it's everybody's constantly recruiting, each and every day and hour. And so, but we're looking forward to it. Excited. Obviously the group that we've got, hopefully signing and really excited to have them join the team, and we feel really good about it.
Willie, when we spoke to Alex yesterday, talking about the ability to get some of the younger guys, some of the scout team guys out, and let them get some chance to play and showcase what they can do. How important is these bowl practices to get some of those younger guys, maybe guys who don't see as much time on the field, get them maybe acclimated to what you guys are trying to do, not just for the bowl, but for the next year as well?
Absolutely. And we've got a handful of guys where we have said to them, you got to treat these practices that we've been having. Now that we know who our opponent is, we'll start to now gear up and get the game plan going. But prior to that, for the most part, 75, 80% of what you do on either side of the ball, you're going to continue to do it. You may call something different, but so we've been working on the same things, same rules, so to speak, or something how you would adapt and adjust to different formations or plays. So they've gotten the base calls, so it gives those guys an opportunity to almost have a start on spring ball, and that's how we've approached it. We've talked to the DBs about, look, this is got a couple guys that are not going to play because of transfer or whatever the case might be. They're not allowed to, but treat it like it's your first day of spring ball or your second day or your third day. And how much forward can you move forward and improve and know and get to know our scheme, even though they know some of it, but they really have been given a lot more reps than they usually would not get in a game week like that we're going to have here now starting today. So it's very important. It's and we've given them a lot of reps, and you could see some of the progress that's made from the first time that we started when we come back after that last ball game. We had our first practice up until yesterday. It's very important to answer your question. I mean, we've always done it every year, wherever we've been here or we've been somewhere else. We've used the bowl practices to really get a head start on guys, to give them some reps, that they normally wouldn't get, and see how they react. And so, yeah, it's been very good. And we've actually, it gives you an opportunity to see a kid, how much of the progress is, that he's had since he's been here.
Coach, the all-conference first team, second team honors were coming out today. Richie Grant made the first team for the third year in a row. What can you say about Richie Grant and just your last 3 years coaching him?
Well, it's been awesome, to be honest with you. I was just texting my wife, and because I just found out, and obviously been doing this for a long time, and have been very blessed to be a part of some really great staffs and great players recruited. And Richie's one of my favorites, and I say that because of the way to see his progress in 3 years. When we first got here in 2018, he was just a guy that didn't play that much, and to see him start and have the year he had in 2018, and then continue that to that last year, and then this year really has been his best year. I know we haven't played as many games, but his preparation off the field, that's something that everybody doesn't see. His attention to detail, his attention of just coming to work every day and having a purpose and leading by setting the example, not leading it, but just setting the example of how he is in meetings, and how he takes coaching and doesn't take things personal, takes critique really well. He's got a great personality. As far as, he's very humble, can laugh at himself, and as I can, and vice versa. And the way he handles himself around the players and how he's been able to coach them on the field. He's a pro, and to see that progress, that process for 3 years now, really excited for him. I mean, we feel like, he's ready for whatever, attack anything in life, just from an academic standpoint, from a life skill standpoint, from a football standpoint, competitive. It's exciting, it really is. And I can say the same thing for Aaron, because obviously it's his last year, and his progress has been tremendous as well. And I know he was another one on the all conference, just like he was last year. And Aaron, same thing, to see his progress. And, Aaron's somebody too, that I was at another school where I was at another former institution where I actually recruited him, and I wanted him there, and to be able to come back full circle. It's happened to me a couple of times. and to be able to come back and coach the player that you really wanted at the other former school. And for whatever reason, I'm here coaching them. We talked about that. It's kind of cool. It's almost like meant to be. And to be able to do that and to see him graduate and have the career he's had, and obviously looking forward to the next step for him also. So it's been a very a major thankful and blessed that I got a chance to be around those guys.
Coach, Devon Wilson obviously played a lot more as the season went on late in the year, made a big play at the end of the game at South Florida. Can you just kind of talk about his progress and maybe what kind of role you see for him going forward in the next season? Is he a guy you're hoping maybe takes hold of that nickel spot that will be vacated by Aaron next season?
Not going to sit there and put him in kind of put him in one position, because again, we like guys that are very multiple. We felt that way about Richie. Richie can play any position. And the more guys you have that's the reason why we took Devon. We liked him coming out of high school, and we wanted him here. Obviously took a visit here. It's somebody that we've known for a while, and to have the opportunity, obviously coming to us now through a transfer, and we're excited about it because he's a guy that can play anywhere. Smart, physical. Obviously he's got great speed, great knowledge, and he's a playmaker. So, what we do on defense, obviously every position is important, but we want to make sure that he's given every opportunity to be impactful on every play. Very similar to what we just talking about Richie and A-Rob, so he'll be somewhere around the middle of the defense, where he can be effective on every play because he has playmaking ability. His first time when he was allowed to play a game against Houston, he made a huge third down play the first time he was in there. And he's made other plays, but you just brought up the one play which I thought was a turning point in the momentum of that game, as things were kind of turning a little bit, and to force that fumble was huge. That's the kind of big play making he can be, and so we're looking for great things from him and moving forward.